up, everybody? Today we're going to do a full body workout. We're going to start with mobility. So starting with foam rolling, I'm going to get the back side and the front side. After foam rolling, we'll do a little bit of stretching. After stretching, we'll do some core activation. And then we'll do our dynamic movement before some power work. Then we'll get into strength work. So just starting with the Achilles, going side to side on the roller, up and down, near the ankle or near the heel. Going on the inside, outside, and right behind. Then move up just a little bit. Same thing, inside, outside. You don't have to have your leg crossed. Do it just like that. If you want to add any more pressure, you cross the leg. And you kind of work the whole calf, making sure to get the outside, behind, and inside. And then switch side. Again, so this is self-myofascial release. Basically relaxes your muscles. So when you stretch, you can get a little bit deeper stretch. And then by the time you get into your dynamic warm-up and power movements, everything will feel nice and supple. So kind of moving up the leg. If you find a sweet spot or a tender spot, you can kind of focus on that area. Now, a tender spot or a trigger point, or what we might want to call a knot, that is different than pain. So if it's painful or sore from a past workout, we don't really want to push into pain or soreness. Okay, so if there's a trigger spot or a sensitive area, or what you could call a knot, but remember, muscles don't actually knot. We just kind of hypothetically call it a knot. Oof. So if you find a sweet spot, hold it there, work in and out of that area. This side I have a little bit more issue on the outside fibula because that's the bone I broke. So that muscle is always a little bit bigger. So now I'm going to work, I'm not going to skip the hamstrings. Hamstrings don't really work with the foam roller. I use the war ball or a softball on the hamstring with using a bench. But lower back here, first thing I do is just relax. Inhale through the nose. Big belly breath, big side breath and back breath. Full 360 on your inhale, and then big exhale out through your mouth. Repeat that 3 times. And then we're just going to shift the legs to the right. And then shift the legs to the left. So the roller is going to push into one side of the back and then the other side of the back. And so we're purposely skipping the actual spinal cord or the spine, the bone. And we're kind of pushing into the sides of the muscles. And if you're good here, if you want to get out, get out. But if you want to take it a little bit further, you can put one foot underneath the knee and drop that knee to that same side leg to the ground. Then we're going to rotate in that direction. So I'm going to put my right foot underneath my left knee. My right knee is going to touch the ground, if possible. I'm going to rotate to the right. Should feel a nice stretch in the lower back and also a side push. And then 2 inhales on each side. Inhale, exhale. So that's how you get the lower back with foam rolling. Upper back. I'm going to go shoulder to shoulder, hands interlaced. Upper back rounded. So try not to just relax. You try to reach toward the sky. Into the walls. Hips are off the ground. You can do it with the hips on the ground as well. You can also do a chest stretch here. Do a neck stretch. And then you can work okay, that's more traps and rhomboids. Now we're going for lats. Cross the legs. I like the palm facing up. I like to straighten the elbow. And then I'll rotate my legs interlace so that I can stay still. From chest to back. I'll go up and down on that post delt. And then I'll work the lat and chest. Might just relax. Don't really want to push into the ribs unless you've been doing this for a while. Switch. So you might have one shoulder that has restriction. You might spend a little bit more time on that shoulder. So if I spend a little bit more time on one area, it's because there's more trigger spots. So trigger spots, again, knots, trigger spots, aberrant tissue. I've heard it called many things. Basically, if you push into it, it shouldn't be painful. It should almost feel good in a way, where a sense of relief. It might not feel pleasant. Sometimes you might just breathe into it. Here you can do external and internal rotation. You can feel the muscles moving around as you do it. Another reason why I like the foam roller is because it's a great assessment tool for all the muscles. So you can kind of see, what muscles feel different on what sides of the body. And if you do this consistently, you get a good reference of muscle tone, muscle density, muscle strength. We go vastus medius. Strength meaning the actual size of the muscles. So, the bigger the muscles get, the more you'll be able to notice them when you roll. So this is VMO here, right next to the knee. Notice I have to scissor my leg up to do this. So I'm making almost a 90-degree angle. Starting with the knee, inside of the knee, VMO, vastus medius, oblique, meaning it's diagonal, vastus big, medius, it's on the midline or on the medial side of the thigh. That's why it's vastus medius oblique. You have vastus lateralis on the outside, vastus intermedius deep, and then vastus medius on top. Oh, and then rectus femoris. But we're now pushing into the adductor group. So leading into the inner thigh to the mid thigh. Now that's a bundle of muscles, the adductor group. So you have innermost gracilis, pectinus gracilis, adductor brevis, magnus, and adductor longus. So I can move my toe down or toe kind of forward. Starting with the VMO, going into the adductor group. Alright, now we're going quads and TFL. TFL is a pocket muscle, right where your pockets are. So right in front of your hip bones, there's a muscle we're gonna hit, and then we're gonna hit quad, and then we're gonna hit outer quad, all at the same time. So starting with the TFL, and then we'll work kind of up that quad and on the outside of the quad. A lot of people think going on the outside of the quad is getting the IT band. You're really pushing the outside thigh muscle. Outside thigh muscle is gonna have more sensors than the actual IT band, so you're actually just pushing the vastus lateralis and getting it mistaken with a tight IT band. It's just you're on an IT band, yeah, that's connective tissue, but there's no sensation in that. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's definitely the side of a bone and also your vastus lateralis. So here's the pocket muscle. It's right on the front of this pocket. I can go side to side. It's a very small muscle, almost like the size of a soap bar. It's your TFL. And once you find it, you can kind of just hold there. You don't have to move far up and down, left and right. That's called your TFL. This one gets really tight sometimes. You'll notice one side more than the other. I think this really helps with hip flexion and not having those cramps when you're doing, hip flexion exercises. And then from here, we'll work the side of the quad. And then I'll work the front of the quad. And then if I find an area of tension, tightness, a knot, trigger point, just kind of hold there, breathe. Then we'll switch sides. So again, starting with the TFL. TFL is that pocket muscle. This side, this hip is slightly contracted. And I'm just going to push, or basically just putting that knee right next to the roller. Pushing right in that TFL. Working the outside quad. And I can turn onto the front quad. Then you can do both quads at the same time, and the feet out. You can relax the legs. Alright, that's it. So that's the quads. That's the whole foam rolling routine. Now we're going to get into some mobility and then activation. So the first thing we're going to do is hands and knees. Step 1 foot back. And then we're just going to keep that knee straight. Just rock that heel back and forth. There's going to be a calf stretch. And then switch. So about 5 to 10 rocks. From here, hands and knees. Make sure the hands are underneath the shoulders. Step 1 foot back like we were before. The front leg we're going to rotate. So the foot is going to go underneath the opposite thigh. But keep the knee underneath the hip. So don't do this. From here, we're going to rock to the outside of that hip. So I'll give you a front demo. And then we're going to go this way. Going to rock out about 3 to 8 times. Then switch side. Okay? So we've gotten the calf, we've gotten the glute, or the posterior hip capsule. Now we're going to get the knees. So if possible, we're going to tuck the toes. Just sit on the heels. If we're able to do that, then we want to see if we can point the toes, sit down. If we can do that, we're going to widen our knees, bring our hands behind. And if we can do that, we're just going to lean back. We should feel this in the front quads here. So the heels are out. My glutes are resting on the inside of my heels. Knees are out. I can rock side to side here. I can squeeze one glute at a time to get even more of a stretch in the hip flexor and quad. From here, I'm just going to go back to the hands and knees. If I have a wall for support or a box, you don't even need it, or you could use the roller. So I'll show you different options. Roller supported hamstring. And then you can use the wall as well. So we don't want to curl the body like this. Keep the chest forward. Just kind of hinge forward. You can hinge in and out of that, or we can hold. And we'll switch. You can have a slight knee bend. You don't want to be too straight. So again, you can rock or you can hold, whatever feels best. If rocking feels kind of unstable, doesn't feel right, I would just kind of hold it. 15 to 30 seconds is all that's needed for the holds in about 3 to 5 rocks. Alright, so there's our hamstring. Let's do a little bit of half kneeling rotation. So we're going to go in the half kneeling position. We don't need a wall. Just bring our hands together. We're just going to open up and look over the shoulder. If we have a wall, we can push into the wall and reach back toward the wall. Push the hands into the wall and look over the shoulder. Take a couple inhales and exhales while you're here. And then we'll switch side. So we got a little bit of upper body there, a little bit of hip flexor there. Let's see, we've done most of the lower body. So now we're going to go ahead and get into some activation exercises. So we'll just lay down on the back. We'll have our toes up. Knees are going to be bent. Palms are down. We're going to squeeze the glutes so that our knees are in line with our shoulders. Hold here. Gonna hold about 15, 20 seconds. So that long exhale out the mouth, like you're blowing up a balloon. Honestly, as long as you're straight, it's probably all that matters here. So whatever breathing strategy you need, but keeping everything nice and tight there. From here, just do an adductor stretch. So hands are on the inside of the knees. We don't have to pull the tailbone or butt off the ground. We're just gonna hold here. Holding on the knees, relax the hips. Good. From here, do a quick figure 4. Again, reach for the toe and knee, and just use this bottom leg as support. And then switch. Now, if your knee doesn't like this one, you can just forget about this one for now. All right. Now we'll do a little bit of dead bug here. So knees are at 90 degrees, back is flat, arms are over the chest, opposite arm, opposite leg extends toward the ground, and then you're going to knee back where you started. Exhale as you reach. Okay. Leg lower, legs are straight if possible. You can also hook a band around one leg as you exhale one leg down and hold. Just like that. Unsupported. One leg goes down. Keep one leg here, so you should be able to keep your finger in one position and press the knee into the finger while one leg goes down. Exhale. Just same thing, like you're blowing up a balloon, big exhale. Now if you make this one harder, first take a break. I'm going to rock a little bit here, so lots of knee to chest, but my legs will be straight. One leg goes down, rock, switch, and then the rule is never to let this top leg go down past 90 degrees. So keep it from 90 to, like, if you can, 100, 110. It's going to look like this. Okay, now we're just going to triangle our hands underneath our pelvis. So yeah, it's going to make it easy to get into this position because we have a little bit of support. We're going to straighten those elbows if we can. Open up the chest. Feet are off the ground about 5 inches. Toes are pointed forward. This is just an isometric hollow hold with a little bit of back support. Just bring the chest and head up off the ground and hold. And relax. Same thing, just gonna scissor the legs. And then we're gonna go in and out. Now we're going to bring the palms next to our sides. Cycle forward and back. From here, go to the stomach. Elbows under the shoulders, palms together. You're going to push the elbows into the ground. You can tuck the toes or point the toes. And we're going to look up. Just try to get our chest and head up. Stretching out the core. From here, go to the side, bend the knees. Feet should be touching. Feet are behind the knees. We're going to lift the top leg up, and then we're going to push the bottom leg into the ground. Hold here. Head back. Not extending, but just looking straight ahead. And don't let this top shoulder move forward. Hold here. Big exhales. Switch. Oof. So doing 3 to 5 inhales and exhales, focusing on that big exhale. 4, Okay, now we're going to go to our forearm plank. Hands together, or palms down. Elbows underneath the shoulders. We don't want our elbows here, we want them right underneath our shoulders. Feet are tucked, feet are together. Go ahead and interlace the hands if you want, or palms down. From here we go the knee plank to start. You want like a cat back, a rounded back. Squeeze the glutes. And all we're doing from here, tuck the toes, feet together. All we're going to do from here is straighten the knees, squeeze the quads, and hold and look straight down. Don't move from this position. Inhale through the nose, long exhale out through the mouth. 3 to 5 inhales, 3 to 5 exhales. Slowly bring those knees down. Move to the side. Elbow in line with the shoulder, palm down, or make a fist. We're going to start with the hips flexed. And then we're going to go ahead and straighten the knees. Whatever you prefer. You can go back to the side, or we can go long lever, straight leg, side plank hold. And then you can challenge yourself with a straight arm side plank hold. If that doesn't work on the wrist, wrists don't like that one. Now we'll go to our bear plank. Hairs of the knees are touching the ground. Make sure the knees are off the ground. From here, we're going to touch the opposite shoulder. If this is too much on your wrists, you can do a forearm plank reach. It'll look like this. When you're doing that, try not to rotate the hips. For your bear plank, try not to rotate the hips like this. Okay, then it just becomes a shoulder exercise. So we're trying to counter that rotation. That's why they call this an anti-rotation exercise for the core. So knees off the ground so little that the hairs touch. And then try to counter it. So the knees want to shift. I want you to try to counter that shift. And the more subtle it looks, the better. You may not be able to get it to not move, but the goal is to see if you can keep it still. Okay, that's the bear plank shoulder tap, anti-rotation core exercise. And I also showed you the forearm plank reach. Okay, so either or for that one. All right, now we're done with activation. We're going to go into some of our dynamic warm-up. Grab a little bit of water. 30-second break. We're going to start with 90-90. We're going to do this quick 90-90 before we get into our dynamic. So you want to rest probably about a couple minutes in between circuits. So
and add in a stretch. Just adding in a 90-90 here. All right. You can use a wall for support, like a foam roller, a dowel. Go half kneeling to start. You can use the wall to kind of help assist yourself with balance, or you can have hands at the hips. We'll go 3 to 5 reps. Going straight up and down like an elevator. Notice that the knees are at 90 degrees. Back leg straightens, and you're on your back toe the whole time. Bottom heel is down from the front leg. Going straight up and down. Okay. Go lateral squat. Feet as wide as you can, toes forward. You're gonna reach forward, bend into one knee, opposite leg straightens. So we'll do same side for 3 to 5 reps. And then switch. Alright, single leg reach. Feet are under the hips, even more narrow if you prefer. You can use the wall as you reach forward. You're going to reach with the opposite hand of the foot that's doing the balance. Okay, so I'm on my left foot. I'm going to reach with my right hand. My left arm is just going to go out to the side, or I can keep my left hand at the hip. I could also do both arms forward, and for some people, having a target like a roller is going to help them. And noticing I'm trying to make a straight line from my hand to my back heel. I don't want it to look like this. See a lot of this. Okay, so switch side. About 3 to 5 on each side. You can go into that march or the step. Alright, so now we'll do toe touch squat, feet a little wider than shoulders or shoulder width. You reach down, touch toes, bend the knees, sit down, you can hang out, hips go up, and then stand up. Now we're going to do just a push-up, normal push-up. Hands under the shoulders, feet together or just slightly apart. I like the chin to touch. I'm going for about 10. So you'll know if you got wrist issues, you felt that. If you don't have wrist issues, you should feel pretty good. Alright, so we've done our dynamic strength. We're going to do a little bit of plyos. Starting with some pogos, and then we'll do some hops, and then we'll get into some jumps and some other power movements. Then we'll get into the strength workout. So pogos, just pretend you're jumping rope. Hands can be on the hips. These are just light taps to the ground. So we don't want lots of knee bend. Okay, we'll go about 10 seconds. and then just kind of relax. You should be able to do that for 10 to 30 seconds without issue. If you have issues with that, you might want to not do the hops and jumps after that. Now we'll do lateral side to side pogo. So find a line, and we're going to go side to side. You're going to go 5 to 10 seconds, and then we're done. Then we're going to do that same thing over a line forward and back. So I like to rest 10 to 30 seconds, and then go right back into it. I don't want to wait too long. Okay, 5 to 10 seconds is all you need. It's the cutoff point. It's not cardio, we're not doing cardio. And this isn't supposed to be long duration plyometrics. Plyometrics should be short duration, high intensity, with good amount of rest. So if you feel like you're not rested, you can pause. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, on the back toe, and then switch. Opposite arm forward with the front foot. So if the front foot's right, I want this elbow to be left. Okay, so it's really just finding a good intensity for 5 to 10 seconds and then taking a break. So those are some pogos, some scissors, lateral pogos. Now we're going to work 1 foot. So taking a little bit of break, 30 seconds to 90 seconds. So that's what you'll need. So if you need to pause it, go ahead. If you're a beginner, if not, we're going to go right into it. So we'll go lateral hops, then medial hops. I like to just do pogo hops laterally first, and then pogo hops medially. So I'll go right lateral, left lateral, and I'll go right medial, left medial. Okay, and it's gonna be light. Not really counting, just going about 3 to 5 feet. And then switch. Okay, medial. Okay, that's a good indicator where my feet and knees are, stability-wise, strength-wise, and also springy-wise. So I want to be able to have that spring in both feet. Now we're going to go linear hop, but I'm going to pretend I'm jumping over a hurdle. So you got lines or imaginary hurdles in your mind. You go 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I use my opposite leg for momentum, so I draw my swinging, so you have a swinging leg and you have a hopping leg. The swinging leg is not in contact with the ground. The swinging leg is going to swing back, and when you swing forward is when the hopping leg propels forward, and you're using the momentum from the swinging leg. Now, you got to use that momentum also to go up and over the hurdle if you have one, or an imaginary one. Okay? So I could use that momentum to move forward like this, or up. For these, I want to be able to stick the landing. If I can't stick the landing of a hop, then I need to focus on maybe hop to a 6-inch box to start. So I would have you next to a wall, and I'd have you do about 3 reps, just like that. If you feel pretty good after a couple phases of training, then I would have you start with these hurdle hops. Then go 3, then 3, up and over. Then I can do that same thing medially. I don't have to worry about the height, and laterally. Okay? So I'll start medially going inward. are tracking your knee where it lands, so don't necessarily want too much inward knee bend when you land. So you do want that knee to stay over in line with the ankle. So we just did medial, so now we'll do lateral. You might have some natural knee caving. So that's enough hopping. I think it's about 25 hops per foot per session is like good effective dose, but I could be wrong on that. So that was probably about 25 on each, plus the light implement pogos. That was probably about 100. Now we're gonna move to jumps, which are gonna be more yielding landings. So these are buoyant landings. This is a yielding landing. So we're going to yield a little bit to create that power enough for that vertical height. So this is going to be a vertical jump. Basically just reach for the ceiling. Try and touch the ceiling here. Jumping. Tell the athlete to just jump in place and land. That's going to be where you're going to jump from. Okay? That's a good. Just jump up in the air and land, and that's where you're going to be your. Okay? Again, we don't want to take off like this, and we don't want to land like this. We want to take off like this. We want to land like this. Now, yeah, there's going to be some wobbling. It's not going to look perfect. So. This is where we'll do 3 to 5 vertical jumps. After that, we can partner that with another power exercise. Could be 2 other power exercises, or we could just partner it with a core exercise. For this one, we're going to do a vertical jump. We're going to partner with a lateral bear crawl. Okay, so it's a little bit of lower body and a little bit of upper body. And the lateral bear crawl makes it a little bit more force and speed dependent, meaning it's going to be a little bit more quick and fast twitch than say your typical plank. All right, so here we go. We're going to start with 3 to 5 vertical jumps. If you feel like it's too much, go 3. If you feel like it's easy, go for 5. Find your landing spot. You're going to take off and then land. Okay, lateral bear crawl. Push up position. Crossover step. You can also do some drop push-ups. You got wrist issues, probably not a good idea. That'd be an upper body power with no equipment. So that's one set, or power set. We'll do a kettle demo and a single arm snatch or row. So, all right, you can take a little bit of break. This is when power rests actually matter. So, we're dealing with actual heavier loads. I would say increase the rest time. But when you're using like lightweight, plyometric, those are fatiguing, But you can get a little bit more strict. All right, here we go. All right, so this power set, we're gonna do kettlebell swing. Now, most people get kettlebell swing completely off or wrong, to the point where I recommend them honestly just doing like a shoulder elevated hip lift, doing a vertical jump if your knees or feet can allow it, doing some type of, maybe a uplift with a cable, but sometimes the kettlebell swing doesn't really work, and the time it takes to learn it, sometimes, I don't know how good this exercise is for most people. So, hard part is just getting the right movement. It should be a hip hinge. I'm not bending my knee when I'm doing a kettlebell swing. That's the biggest thing I see. So let me show you how it shouldn't look first. Okay, you should never start here in between your legs. And you should never squat down to get it. And then it shouldn't look like this. Okay. We're going to start with the bell in front. We're going to make a triangle with our toes and the bell. We're going to hinge forward, like Romanian deadlift. Back is flat. Grip the bell. We're going to swing on our first rep back. Straighten our body like we're being measured. And the shoulders will follow. Come back down. Swing up. So hips go back, knees slightly bend. And then stand up. I'm not rounding my back. Back stays relatively straight. Kind of like, okay. We'll go 5 to 10 reps for the kettlebell swing, then 3 to 5 reps for the single arm dumbbell snatch. This one, again, don't do too much knee bend, although you can. Might help. Actually, I like a little bit more knee bend here. Or you can do slight knee bend. I think more knee bend actually helps. I can add in a straight leg sit up on it. Feet shoulder width, feet toes toward the sky. All right, that's it for power. Now we're going strength. I gotta get all of y'all set up. Let's see. Ah. Oof.